Welcome back to ChunkSmash, my chunk-locked Ironman starting in Lumbridge. Last episode, we made some great progress at Shattered Worlds, and this episode, we will finish the Shattered Worlds grind. But that's not all my chunks have to offer. There are some terrifying grinds hidden below the surface. So let's get started. Alright, welcome back everyone to episode 10. Yes, episode 10 of my Chunkman series. I really didn't think I'd get all the way to episode 10 when I started this series, but here we are. I've said it before, but thank you again to everybody who's watching. Your support means a ton. I'll be real, I wouldn't still be here grinding Shattered Worlds after God knows how many hours without you, so thank you. That said, we are approaching the end game of this particular grind, and maybe, just maybe, this chunk. Let's start by going over what we still need to get from Shattered Worlds. First, we need the following 3 items: the aggression ability, the mask of the yellow worm, and the mask of the Ganodermic. All of these give some kind of combat upgrade or some kind of utility, so I consider them mandatory unlocks. Next, we have the following additional unlocks: at least one title from the Shattered Anima reward shop. There's 3 to choose from, and they all cost 150 million Anima each, a scandal. Inflation is rampant in Runescape, let me tell you. And all of the buyable pets. I guess it's technically just the one pet, but you keep upgrading it through purchasing increasingly expensive unlocks. Neither the pet nor the title give any kind of account progression, they're purely cosmetic, but I decided I had to get them because I thought they were cool, and that they would be a nice memento of my time here. That was about 70 hours of in-game time ago, and I now regret those life choices. But just like how I agreed to spend Christmas with my wife's parents this year, it's too late to back out now. All in all, this costs about 490 million Anima. I get about 8 to 9 million Anima per hour currently, so that's a little over 50 hours. That said, there's one other use case for Shattered Worlds: Slayer training. Given that I can't enter the Lumbridge Slayer Cave, after deciding last episode that using the Pumpkin Lantern, a light source in the 2024 Halloween event, wasn't in the spirit of the game mode, Shattered World is my only source of Slayer XP. There are 2 eligible Slayer monsters in my chunk I need to grind XP for: Desert Strike Worms at level 77 Slayer, and Ripper Demons at a much more problematic level 96 Slayer. Both of these monsters then have associated chunk tasks related to their drop tables. Some of these chunk tasks are pretty crazy too, like a 1 in 30,000 pet chance in Ripper Demons, or level 90 herblore from Desert Strike Worm herb drops. I've been deliberately vague about how I'll be tackling the post-Shattered World chunk tasks because I've been taking my time trying to figure out how I want to handle them. Needless to say, I will be talking more about this later, but for now, just know that I will be constantly buying and using Slayer contracts whilst grinding out the rest of the Shattered Worlds rewards. A Slayer contract is basically like a buyable Slayer task from the Shattered Worlds reward shop that can only be fulfilled in the minigame, where you're tasked with killing a specific type of monster like demons or elementals or followers of Bandos. In any given run, there's no guarantee you actually find any of the monsters you're supposed to kill, making it hard to calculate your XP per hour because it varies. But I'm hopeful to get close to level 80 Slayer by the time I finish unlocking the rest of the Shattered Worlds rewards, and it means I'll need a chunk more than the 490 million Anima I mentioned earlier, because I'll be spending some of it on these contracts. Anyway, that's enough chit chat, let's get back to the grind. That is level 65 Slayer. 87 magic, that is 83 hit points. There's something slightly weird going on that I've noticed since getting Slayer's Insight. Take a look at this bonus XP. There's 23.2 bonus XP. Now that's 10% extra Slayer XP I get from using my new Slayer's Insight ability, which firstly indicates each monster is worth 232 XP base. That's quite a bit of Slayer XP. It's almost as much as an Abyssal Demon, although it's probably balanced by how long it takes to actually find the monsters you're hunting for in Shattered Worlds. But that isn't the point of this clip. The point of this clip is just to note that each Black Knight is worth 232 Slayer XP on a Slayer contract, and also that I'm on world 31. You can't see this because the interface is covered by the little XP indicators, so you'll just have to trust me. I typically do runs of worlds 31 to 35 before resetting, so this is the first and easiest of the 5 worlds I do. Okay, I'm still on the same Slayer contract, hunting Black Knights, and now I'm on world 33, a higher world than before, and check out the bonus XP. It's 18.5. It's still a 10% bonus, so this means all of these knights are giving me just 185 XP. Notably, that is lower than 232, the XP per knight I was getting on world 31, a lower world. This isn't specific to knights or to these worlds, it's true for all the monsters I get contracts for, and it's true on every single world. The monsters of each world give progressively less Slayer XP. That's weird, right? It's a bit counterintuitive. Now, I think monster density is higher on the higher worlds, so maybe the monsters giving less XP is a deliberate attempt to balance things. It's worth noting that the combat level of the monsters within a 5 world bracket are roughly the same. They're all like level 49 or 50. Still, it's weird to me that the same 2 monsters give different amounts of XP on different world levels. At some point, I want to test this a bit further. That's level 66 Slayer. Oh my god. Oh my god! I fucking hate the Chaos Elemental. Wow, I'm dead. I actually died to the Chaos Elemental. Editor smash here. I said last episode that all these bosses were basically big HP pinatas, and that's basically true, except for the Chaos Elemental. Here you can see how he unequips my weapon once, twice, like literally 1 tick later for 3 times, a 4th time, then he teleports me so I can't see where he is anymore, he unequips my weapon for a 5th time whilst I'm trying to find out wherever it is he's hiding, and he unequips my weapon a 6th time, literally on the same tick I re-equipped it. It might seem like I'm not equipping it at all, but I actually am, and he's instantly unequipping it again, along with a couple of extra items. This was an 18-second clip, by the way, in real time. It's genuinely insane when compared to the other Shattered World bosses, who have literally no mechanics. In fact, let's do a quick tier list for Shattered World bosses. In F tier, we have the Chaos Elemental, obviously. In C tier, we have almost every other boss because they're basically interchangeable. And in A tier, we have generally Grador because he has the best name. Also, we have Zilyana for reasons. That's level 88 magic, a critical level because I can now teleport an entire group of chunk accounts to Catherby. Oh my days, I got all 3 portal repair kits from like almost the first monsters I killed. I'm just gonna actually finish a world within 3 minutes. Yes, the triple world skip. This like basically never happens. I've never finished this set of worlds in under 5 minutes. Surely I will this time though. Oh, the bosses spawned and we're not far off. Oh fuck me, it's the Chaos Elemental. Why is it the Chaos Elemental? You gotta unequip my weapons. Of course he does it 1 second later. And he's dead. Okay, I'm definitely doing it in faster than 5 minutes. I am killing it here. Click on the chest. Yes! 2 minutes, 51 seconds. That is nuts. If I could do that consistently, it would be like 20 million Anima per hour. Anyway, there you go. That's my PB, and it's not even close. Hey, level 90 magic. This is such a big level. It's crazy that I already have a 90 stat. I mean, I had Woodcutting before, but like a 90 combat stat. And I'm a level 170 combat. I am getting there. Look at these unlocks. The seismic wand, noxious staff. Wow. So much stuff just gets unlocked at level 90. That 50% critical damage is actually relevant as well. Amazing. I've also saved up enough Anima for my next item, so I'll get that in a minute. But also, I'm going to switch from training magic to defense. I'll still be using magic, it's just much faster than anything else I've tried here, but I'm going to be leveling defense XP. The logic here is that I've been training magic because the better my level, the better my DPS, the better my Anima per hour, and the faster I'm done. So what's changed? Well, I get levels so slowly now, and their marginal DPS boost is so tiny it just doesn't really matter anymore. We're talking fractions of a percent of DPS at this point. But I do it for defense cape chunk as maybe the next chunk I roll. Now, officially I don't do skill capes because I'm just semi-extreme, But in the past I've said I would get the defense skill cape, and I'm still holding to that. So yeah, I'm switching to defense so that I can make a big dent in that potential future grind. I won't get to 99 defense in this chunk, I don't think, but maybe like 92, something like that. Anyway, you probably won't see any more magic levels this video, is my point. Alright, let's open this chest. Another million Anima or so. A million Anima and change, beautiful. And now let's go buy the aggression ability for 90 million Anima. So this is the last of the sigils, I think they're called. At least last of the ones I can actually use, because Kurodal's Favor only works in that dungeon, and that is not in my chunks. Editor Smash. Fun bit of Shattered World trivia for the RuneScape 3 history nerds out there. These 3 unlockable abilities used to be called sigils, and you'd equip them in the now removed sigil slot. Back in 2019, all sigils got removed from the game and replaced with an equivalent ability. For example, the Sigil of Slaying became Slayer's Insight. I don't really know why Jagex made this change, although, honestly, I do prefer this being an ability, so 2 thumbs up, good change Jagex. Alright, let's buy it. 90 million Anima paid, and let's take it out for a little spin. The idea of the aggression ability is it makes nearby enemies instantly aggressive, so I guess it's good for making stuff AFK, though the wiki says it doesn't activate as part of the revolution bar, which I feel like makes it a lot less convenient. Also, I can't find it. I can never find the new abilities. Oh, for some reason it's the defense ability. Literally all the other similar X sigils are Constitution tab, but this one is in the defense tab. Okay, so force up to 8 enemies within 5 tiles to attack you. Doesn't trigger on revolution, no effect in PvP, 90-second cooldown. Let's see it in action. I'm going to take it to the catacombs because there's a lot of monsters down there. Okay, does it work? Oh wow, you probably can't see this, but Alt-R brings up my NVIDIA GPU performance overlay, so I probably need to rebind this key to do something else, but yeah, it does work. It probably will be better against non-ranged enemies so I don't get kited around like an idiot, but still. Editor Smash again. It's kind of hard to see, but I noticed during putting this video clip together that during this freeze frame, I definitely aggroed 9 spiders, right? Is the tooltip saying up to 8 enemies wrong? Let me know in the comments if you think I'm missing something here. Anyway, back to the video. First defense level of the grind, 81 defense. Ooh, that's the level for Barricade. That's really good. Well, I mean, it's not that good, but like, it is a real ability that has some utility, which is something. I'll take what I can get here. Alright, if I can get to this portal without dying, then I've got a new world record. Like, not a world record, I'm probably not the first RuneScape player to hit world 45. I think a few other players might have reached here once or twice, but it's a new record world for me on this account. I figured I'd try to push as high as I could now that I have level 90 magic and my DPS is a bit better. I'm mostly just curious. And that's level 69 Slayer, what a level. Now, normally when I get to level 69 in something, I make some kind of juvenile joke because 69 references the sexual position and sex as well. You know what, just Google it if you still have questions. But this time, I'm not. Because it's my first time on world 46, this is as high as I've ever gone. And let me freeze the video so you can look at how much bonus XP I just got. 18 XP. That's my 10% bonus Slayer XP from Slayer's Insight. So you can infer that monster just got me 180 Slayer XP. On world 46, I was getting 232 Slayer XP from monsters on world 31. Jagex, I need answers. These monsters are combat level 64. That is definitely higher. They have more health. They do more damage. Why am I getting less Slayer XP for killing them? This isn't a rhetorical question. Does anyone know why it's like this? Does it just keep getting worse as you get to higher worlds? I'm genuinely confused about this way of balancing things. Okay, I didn't get much further than world 45. I got to world 48 and then I died. Definitely not worth farming Anima at this level. It's way too slow, but I think I will test doing worlds 36 to 40. The last time I moved up a band of 5 worlds, I actually got a big increase in my XP per hour, and that was about 15 magic levels ago, so I think it makes sense to at least test if grinding the next set of 5 worlds is better. Okay, I'm going to stop talking about this eventually, I promise, but I'm on world 38 now, and my bonus XP is 11. So that's worse than world 31, and worse than world 46. Obviously there must be some kind of logic here, but I have no idea what it is.
You're searching for logic and reason where there is none.
Also, I've only been testing it for a few runs, but doing world 36 to 40 is bad. it is a lot worse than World 31 to 35. Have you ever seen someone with 4 portal repair kits at the same time? Probably not, because you don't spend your life playing Shattered Worlds like I do. Fuck me, what the hell? ChunkSmash received an Abyssal Hound pet drop? Where even is it? It's not in my inventory. Oh my god, I've never seen this pet before. Sorry, I actually genuinely wasn't expecting this. Give me a second. Okay, so I legitimately missed that this pet even existed when researching Shattered Worlds. In my defense, it's not listed anywhere on the wiki page as far as I can see. I mean, the pet has its own wiki page, but there's nothing on the main page for Shattered Worlds that indicates this pet exists. It's also not mentioned on the rewards page, which I guess makes sense because that page mostly covers the reward shop itself and you can't buy this pet. It's just a random drop from completing a set of 5 levels in the minigame. I guess the main question here is, was I spooned? Well, kind of. The chance of receiving this pet is X in 150,000, where X is the final floor, so 35 in my case because I've been doing floors 31 to 35. This means each time I do a run, I have a roughly 1 in 4,285 chance of getting this pet. I don't know how many runs I've done so far from how much Anima I've collected, probably about 400. So yeah, I'm very spooned. I'm at about 10% of the drop rate. Granted, by the time I'm done with the Shattered Worlds, I'll probably have done more than 1,000 runs. That's an approximation here because I used to run lower world levels, but you know, this is just a rough estimate. And the conclusion is I was pretty unlikely to leave Shattered Worlds with this pet, and the fact I've got it is insane. I mean, this just feels like destiny. This is by far the coolest pet I've ever got. It's not even close. Sorry Bubbles, the age of the fish is over, the age of the dog has begun. Alright, once again we are at the Shattered Worlds reward shop, this time with 150 million Anima. That's a lot of Anima, and we are here to buy one of these titles. And I've been thinking about which one I want to get. It's definitely not the Abyss Diver, and I think it is the Animaniac. There's a sort of weird kind of insanity that comes out of this minigame that is starting to infect me, and the Animaniac title reflects that, so I'm about to blow 150 million Anima on it, which is, well, at current rates, about 20 hours of work. So now I can actually unlock it somehow, if I can remember how titles work. Titles, here you go. The Animaniac. I'll be giving up the hardcore Ironman title, which is a bit sad, but you know, hey ho, this isn't really a hardcore account anyway. Well, I am now Animaniac ChunkSmash. Catchy. So, what do we still need to get? I need to get every single pet, that'll be fun, and 2 more masks. So, getting pretty close to the end of the grind, probably 2/3 of the way there, about 300 million Anima to go. That's level 87 defense, getting up there. Alright, so with this chest, kind of arbitrarily I'll start buying the pets. What can I afford from the pet shop? I can pick up the first pet, the second pet, and the third pet. I guess they just go straight to your pet interface, not your inventory. I'll just wait until getting all the stages unlocked before checking them out. I mean, how could I possibly put this little guy away? He's so cute, just look at him. Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy? Is it you? Is it you? The wolf gives you a look that indicates he knows exactly who the good boy is, and it is indeed him. Level 73 Slayer, and that's Jungle Strike Worms, the slightly weaker cousin of the Desert Strike Worms that I have in my chunk. Pretty cool. Right, I'm just recording this clip where I'm going to get level 90 Woodcutting pretty soon. There you go, level 93. And I'm just showing it because I wanted to let you know that I pivoted away from AFK thieving back to AFK woodcutting because of elder trees. There are no elder trees in my chunks, but there's one south of Varrock and one in Draenor, so they're not far away. Both have an associated level 95 fletching requirement for an unstrung elder shield bow, which is a 300 or 400 hour grind if I don't prepare ahead of time. People have commented a few times now that arguably I shouldn't need to make unstrung bows because they're not complete items according to my rule set, and yeah, that's actually completely fair. But even so, there's flax and or bowstrings near my chunks too, so either way I'll need 95 fletching fairly soon, so let's make a dent. I think this is more useful than thieving XP anyway. That's level 88 defense and 110 combat. Wow, I'm getting strong. If I could change one thing about Shadow Worlds, it would be that the bosses should count towards Slayer contracts, because currently they don't, even when they clearly should. The Dagannoth Kings don't count as sea creatures, even though the Dagannoths do, and Grardor doesn't count as a follower of Bandos. Actually, if I could change one thing, I'd yeet the Chaos Elemental straight into the fucking sun. But if I could change two things, the second thing I'd change would be making the bosses count for Slayer contracts. Okay, I have enough for two more pets, pets 4 and 5, and if I don't think too hard, I can almost tell myself that I'm halfway to getting all 9 pets. Alright, I'm gonna finish this kill up on the Chaos Elemental, get wrecked you stupid little troll, and I should now have enough Anima to get another 2 pets. I do, just! I can buy this one for 18 and I still have change to buy this one for 29. Just 2 more pets to go. They cost more than the rest of the pets put together, but you know, we're getting there. We are getting there. Ugh, I mean, just look at this nonsense. They've got to put a cooldown on this or something. Sometimes it's okay, but this is ridiculous. I can't equip this stuff fast enough. Level 75 Slayer, and that's Gargoyles. Super clean looking level that. I missed it because I am a bad YouTuber, but that is level 90 defense, a titanic level. Apocal. Look at all those unlocks. Crazy. I'm just going to stay on defense XP. I still have a lot of Anima to go, so I will get a few more levels. Maybe 95 defense? I don't know. Alrighty, it is that time again. Pet time. And it is 47 million Anima for the pet, and boom. We are getting towards the end of this grind, and yeah, I'm ready for it to be over. I won't lie, it's been heavy. I have been here for a long time. Another defense level to add to the collection, level 91 defense. Level 76 Slayer, that's Muspar and Nihil, 2 great Slayer monsters about 1,000 chunks away. And it's level 92 defense, that's halfway to 99, and that is crazy, it really is. So, with this last chest, I think I have enough Anima for another pet, the final pet. I do! Pet bought, chunk task done, and let's take a look at it. Okay, editor smash here. I spent like 4 minutes going through the pet dialogue, which I won't make you watch in real time, because they give each version of the pet different dialogue lines, which is impressive, and yeah, I actually really like this pet. For some reason, I wasn't expecting to. The final form is the Animosaurus Rex. It has some cool dinosaur Jurassic Park vibes going on, and legitimately, some of the best particle effects I've ever seen in Runescape. I'm not always a fan of the particle effects in RS3, but these I do like. I'm not sure I like it more than the Anima dog I've already got here, but this one is newer and shinier and a T-Rex, so for now, it'll stay. Now, you might think it's weird that I'm recording myself just cutting a tree in the middle of my Shattered Worlds content, but it is because as of today, the 110 woodcutting and fletching update has come out. Unlike the mining and smithing update that came out a bit earlier and didn't really affect me, this one does. I've just been skimming the patch notes, so I might have missed something, but the most immediate change is birds' nests. Stay on the ground for 2.5 minutes now. I didn't know what it was like before, but I feel it was like 10 seconds or something. I don't know how many birds' nests I discarded to the ground gods, the despawn gods, but it was a lot. Probably easily 1,000. The birds' nest change is a fantastic quality of life change from my point of view, although I wish it came out like 6 months ago. That said, I might need to get to like level 100 plus woodcutting if I roll an elder tree chunk, just because the fletching grind is so brutal, and getting twice as many birds' nests will be nice. The other big change, from my point of view, is that they rebalance some of the lower level trees and move them around a bit. This is big because the reason I'm woodcutting willow trees and not, say, yew trees is because I have a willow wood box but not a yew wood box. A wood box is a box where you store your wood. I'm not sure that needed explaining really, but it massively increases your XP per hour if you want to bank the logs, which I do, because you can store 140 logs in it. Now, I have the fletching level for a yew log box, but I have to upgrade each tier of box sequentially with the respective logs. So, back in episode 1 I made a regular wood box from regular logs, then an oak wood box from oak logs, and finally a willow wood box from willow logs. But that's it. I can't go further because the next step is a teak box and the nearest teak trees are miles away. But, as part of the update they've added teak trees to Moosa Point, maple trees south of Rock, and acacia trees in Head's Oasis. Now, acacia trees are currently in my chunks, and maple trees and teak trees aren't that far away. I don't think acacia trees are super useful just now unless I get the teak trees first because that's the wood box I'm stuck on, but still, all in all, a nice update from my point of view. Plus, I dodged a bullet in that the level 100 plus content is all the way in Piscatoris, I think, so literally about as far away from me as possible, which is great. Here we are, level 77 Slayer. Okay, I just finished up the world, and let's take a look at this level. Level 77 Slayer is the level for Desert Strike Wyrms. That's it, that's the update. So I don't need any more XP to unlock this monster. Now, I do have Ripidemons at level 96 Slayer. So, you might be thinking, you're about 90% of the way to the Shattered World items grind, and you're only about 2% of the way to unlocking Ripidemons, or whatever the number is, it's probably more than 2%. So yeah, I'm definitely not going to make it to 96 by the time I've got all my unlocks here. In fact, there's a pretty high chance I don't even make it to level 78. If that's true, if the last level I get from Slayer contracts is level 77, that's pretty neat actually, considering it's the level for Desert Strike Wyrms. I didn't plan it that way. I didn't really have any idea how much XP I'd get from Slayer contracts actually. But yeah, we're getting close to the end of this grind, both in terms of time but also levels. I've probably only got one defense level left in me, maybe a hit point level, maybe not. The levels are so far apart now, they're like, my gosh, they really are. You're looking at close to like 5 or 6 hours for a defense level, maybe 10 hours for a hit point level, it's crazy. And we made it, as predicted, level 93 defense, and I've accidentally selected the freezing debuff from the Shattered Worlds run, which is one of the most annoying debuffs known to man. Don't be like me, don't pick the freezing debuff. Alright, with this set of worlds done, that should be enough for my first mask, the Mask of the Ganodermic. Open the shop. Slayer masks. Mask of the Ganodermic confirmed. How much Anima do I have left? 3 million, so I've got another 20 million Anima to go for the last mask, plus whatever I spend on Slayer contracts. Okay, let's wear this, my tier 55 hybrid gear. Oh, for a second I thought I had ears. I thought the mask gave me weird bat ears, but it doesn't, it's just this guy's pauldrons. This is really ugly. Just out of this world ugly. But sadly, I think it's my best in slot in every style. Let's just take a look. I've got my steel full helm, batwing hood, and my leather cowl. What am I looking at here? Editor smash. It turns out I didn't really understand how armor worked, and was getting confused by all the numbers, so I'm gonna go over it now. The full calculation is weirdly complicated, and I won't go all the way into the weeds, but basically you have an armor value, which determines the monster's base chance to hit you, and a high armor value is good. The Mask of the Ganodermic has a higher armor value than any of my other items, which means I take less damage. The style bonus shown here is added to the armor value, so in my current screenshot I have plus 24 armor against melee, and minus 12 armor versus ranged, and this is related to the combat triangle. I have mostly magic gear on, which is good against melee and weak versus ranged. The wiki also mentions you have an affinity that varies between 45 and 65 depending on what type of armor you wear and the combat triangle, similar to the style bonus. If this works the same way as it does for NPCs, then this acts as a flat percentage multiplier to the damage you take. So, if you have an affinity of 45, you take 45% of the base damage from an attack, and if you have an affinity of 65, you take 65% of the base damage, so a lower affinity is better. This affinity stuff means that I don't think I can confidently say that the hybrid Ganodermic mask is strictly better than my other items because of how affinity plays into things. The extra armor from the mask is additive, but the changes in affinity are multiplicative, so in different situations my best in slot might be different. It's also not super clear to me why there's both a style bonus and an affinity, so maybe I'm not fully understanding something. The wiki mostly talks about how to calculate player accuracy versus monsters and not monster accuracy versus players, but I think what I've just said is roughly accurate. Level 89 Constitution is coming up any monster now, and this kind of shows just how ridiculous the Constitution cape would have been if I was going for all the skill capes. I'm not even halfway there. Level 78 Slayer, surely the last Slayer level before I get the final mask, and that's Aqua Knights. Nice. Just for fun, I went and tested how much Slayer XP I get per monster at lower worlds. I know I get more Slayer XP at world 31 than the higher worlds I tried, but do I get even more Slayer XP at lower worlds? The answer is no. I actually get the most Slayer XP at the world levels I was already grinding just by chance. And this Slayer XP curve still makes no sense to me. Here we are. The final portal, the final chest, the last Anima drop will get me the Anima needed for the Mask of a Desert Strike Worm. Just. And we're done. Ding! Let's check it out. God, this looks dumb. It's like a child's Halloween mask. Anyway, in addition to giving me some bonuses fighting Desert Strike Worms, this lets me teleport to the Strike Worms twice a day. Wow, that is a teleport animation I have not seen before. And here we are, at the Desert Strike Worms. I can teleport once more, and that's it. I can only teleport twice a day, otherwise this item will be way too overpowered, obviously. Now, I won't be killing the Desert Strike Worms this episode, that'll be happening next time. I think it's time to talk about the elephant in the room, the post-Shattered World grinds in this chunk, as well as more broadly, how I'm going to approach some skills and tasks on this account going forward. Let's take a look at what I still have to do. The eagle-eyed amongst you might have noticed some of these remaining chunk tasks are, well, chunky. Specifically, level 96 Slayer for Ripper Demons would mean roughly farming another billion Anima at Shattered Worlds and spending all of it on Slayer lamps. That would take about 150 hours. I then need to get all the unique drops on the Ripper Demon collection log. Now, assuming I can kill Ripper Demons, more on that later, I'd be chasing 2 in 1 10k drops. The Ripper Demon Claws and the Ripper Demon Claws offhand, and a 1 in 30k drop for the pad, without any bad luck mitigation. What does a grind like that look like? Well, I like probability and statistics, so read up a program to simulate this and ran it 1,000 times. You can see the distribution here. I'm not going to go into too much detail here, but the main takeaway is that about half the time, I'm done within 25,000 kills. That's the median value. But this distribution is not symmetric, it's skewed. And if you go dry, oh boy can it get bad. In my simulation, it looks like at least one poor version of myself is all the way over here and had to kill almost 180k Ripper Demons going 6 times dry on the pad. Even if I don't go dry, I don't know how long 25,000 kills would take. Probably forever, because I don't think I can kill even one Ripper Demon, but we'll test this in a minute. Finally, I would then need level 90 herblore for extreme defense potions, and the Ripper Demon grind would not get me ridiculously close. I probably need to go and kill around 450,000 Desert Strike Worms to get the remaining herblore XP. How long would that take? I really have no idea. If I can kill 2 a minute, then 4,000 hours just to get the drops? Like, just an insane amount of time. Anyway, none of this really matters, because I will be doing none of these things. Not the 96 Slayer, not the 25,000 kills at Ripper Demons, and not the 4,000 hour grind to Strike Worms. But let's explain exactly why not. Some of what I'm about to say is immediately relevant to the chunk at hand, and some of it is about future-proofing the chunk so that I don't have to keep making exceptions as I roll new chunk tasks. Specifically, I'm going to talk about herblore, slayer, summoning, invention, farming, and archaeology. Firstly, farming. I'm going to treat farming as a passive skill, because it's time-gated. If I unlock a non-time-gated method for farming, then I might reconsider, but for now, I'll treat it as passive. This doesn't affect anything in my current chunks, because I don't have a primary method for training farming, but it could potentially become relevant in the future. Treating farming as passive isn't super controversial, it's pretty common in the chunk community. Next, herblore, summoning, and invention. I'm going to treat all of these as passive skills. This isn't because they're time-gated, but because they fundamentally don't fit in with the cadence of a chunk account. At heart, a chunk account is about grinding one specific thing until it's done. This works great for some skill challenges, like mining or fishing, and it works great for things like minigames or boss collection logs. It doesn't really work for herblore, summoning, or invention though. None of these skills are really grindable. They're intended to be leveled gradually and holistically in line with your account, whilst you train other skills. You do Slayer, or bossing, or skilling like normal, and as you do this, you basically naturally level these skills, with the idea that by the time you've maxed all the other skills, you probably also max these ones too. Killing 500,000 desert strike worms with 90 herblore is a great example of this. It's not that desert strike worms are a bad monster for herblore drops, it's just that the game isn't designed for any one monster to provide all your herblore ingredients. You're supposed to kill a variety. I'll end up with tons of herbs without secondaries, and in some specific cases, too many secondaries and not enough herbs. It's not just that this grind is memey, but I also think it's boring. Would you want to see me spend 4 years killing desert strike worms? Would that be fun to watch? I mean, maybe for some of you, but probably not for most of you, and definitely not for me. I thought about clever ways of trying to handle this, like saying I need to get X herblore XP or Y herblore levels needs chunk before rolling, or more elaborate rule sets, but it all feels a bit arbitrary. The cold truth is some skills do not fit into the chunk lifestyle, so herblore, summoning, and invention will all be passive. This effectively means they won't create chunk tasks and I won't have to grind 90 herblore before moving on to the next chunk. Next up is Slayer. Now, getting to 96 Slayer is not memey. It's basically doing the Shattered World grind I just did all over again, which would be terrible, heartbreaking, soul-crushing even, but not memey. I would do this grind 100% and get the Slayer level if I could kill Ripper demons, but I can't. Let's take a look at El Smashico, a regular Ironman who used to have his own series but has since been relegated to be ChunkSmash's body double for dangerous stunts. It's a rough gig. Here we can see him kitted out in approximately the same gear I have on my chunk account and getting absolutely bodied by Ripper demons. Just destroyed, and he's got max combat stats. Maybe there's some cheesable method where I set up a wall of ults and try to safe spot the demons, but I don't know. I'm not really sure that's what I want this account to be about. As I get new unlocks, I will come back periodically to check if I can kill Ripper demons, and once I can, I will go for this Slayer level to kill it. Whether I commit to getting the 1 in 30k pet drop, that's another matter. 1 in 30k is a brutal drop rate for monsters that are harder than a Gold Wars 1 boss, but as soon as I have the gear to kill one of these, I will at least get the level. This goes to bosses too. If I can kill a boss, I will consider it a chunk task, but if I legitimately can't, then I'll backlog it until I can. Archaeology is the last skill to talk about. I'm still figuring out exactly what I want to do here, but I wanted to flag it now, as I probably will build some kind of rule set around it when it finally gets unlocked, even if I don't know exactly what that is yet. This effectively leaves a much smaller list of chunk tasks remaining. Level 35 smithing for cannonballs. It's possible I can't make cannonballs without doing the cannon quest, but I guess we'll find out. Full studded leather for best in slot ranged. I already have the crafting level, so this is pretty trivial. Obtained a focus sight from desert strike worms at a relatively reasonable 1 in 512 rate. A focus sight is the ranged example of the Black Mask, and gives a 7.5% damage boost and 12.5% accuracy boost against Slayer targets when using ranged. It used to be the case you could only get this drop on a Slayer task, but I don't think that's the case anymore. Next up, I need level 70 range, up from my current level 65, so that I can equip Haralander, my best in slot ammo option. I can't use it because it can only be 5 from a Black Salamander, which I can get from, honestly, I'm not sure, but not Lumbridge, but just equipping it is enough. This has a herblore requirement of 45 to make the Haralander, but I already had that level. And lastly, I need to start the Lost City quest and complete it as much as possible, which is not very far. I've also changed, for the last time I think, what my AFK activity is this episode, to mining. I think mining iron and coal to make steel arrows for fletching XP is probably at least competitive with just chopping willows for unstrung bows in terms of XP, but even if it isn't, getting a bunch of mining levels now is more useful than getting more woodcutting XP. I don't really need more woodcutting XP, I mean I even have the pet, but there's a light Anima rock a few chunks away in the desert that would need 90 mining eventually. Also, this way I train fletching, mining, and smithing, so 3 skills instead of just woodcutting and fletching, so just in general it seems more meta efficient. All in all, this has been a super long chunk, and that's even without having a light source for the Lumbridge Cave, or being able to kill Ripper Demons, and I still need to get the focus sight from Strike Worms next episode. I have enjoyed it though. Partly Shattered Worlds has just been fun, and also genuinely useful for the account. The combat XP I got here is easily 2 or 3 times what I would get anywhere else in my chunks. But also, I just feel like I've experienced content here in a way that most people don't. Which, at the end of the day, is kind of what chunk accounts are supposed to be about. It's not just about the grind, but about doing weird and suboptimal things because of your chunk limitations. The Shattered World Slayer grind is a great example of that. There's a good chance I'm the first person to ever grind to level 78 Slayer on nothing but Shattered World contracts. Like, why would anyone else do that? Go check out the wiki page for Abyssal Slayer contracts. The whole thing is like 2 paragraphs. It's also possible that I'm the first person ever to notice the absolute jank that is the Slayer XP curve for monsters on low level worlds, and I'm almost certain I'm the first person to actually wear a Slayer mask for its stats. I don't know, it just feels fun to feel like my own little snowflake account on its little snowflake journey is starting to really blaze its own trail. I think I'm starting to mix my metaphors here, so let's move on to the outro. We got the following drops from a Shattered World reward shop: the Aggression ability, the Mask of the Yellow Worm, and the Mask of the Ganodermic. We got the Animaniac title, and we got all of the buyable pets. I even got a bonus chunk task of getting the RNG pet, the Abyssal Wolfhound, a pet so obscure I can't even find it listed as a drop on the main wiki page for the Shattered Worlds at time of recording. This means we're officially done with the Shattered Worlds rewards. I might still come back if I need Combat XP or Slayer XP, in fact I almost certainly will, but I don't need anything else in the reward shop for now. I will have to come back and buy new masks for monsters I unlock, so if I unlock Abyssal Demons, I'll get the Abyssal Demon mask for example. Finally, let's go over the levels gained this episode. From the Shattered Worlds grind, I went from level 86 to 89 Magic, 80 to 93 Defense, 64 to 78 Slayer, and level 82 to 89 Constitution. For those of you well versed in your Runescape XP scaling, gaining 7 levels in a skill requires doubling your XP. That means in this episode alone, I've gained as much combat XP as in every previous episode put together. This episode is by far my longest in terms of active time invested, so if you did enjoy it, please like and subscribe, it means a lot. Outside of Shattered Worlds, I gained the following levels for my more AFK and passive time. Level 78 to 79 Thieving at Safecracking, level 92 to 93 Woodcutting at Willows, and level 43 to 67 Mining at Iron and Coal Rocks as I stock up on materials for steel arrow tips. And I gained the following levels from daily tasks: level 64 to 65 Prayer, 44 to 45 Crafting, 60 to 61 Cooking, 73 to 74 Fletching, and level 40 to 49 herblore, because I made sure to always do any herblore daily tasks. But I'll admit, I slacked on some of the other ones, especially crafting, because getting crafting materials is actually quite annoying on this account. And that's it! I want to wish everybody a happy new year. I hope 2025 brings you everything you hope for, I really do. I appreciate each and every one of you who's watching all the way to the end and supporting this channel. It really does mean a lot that people are watching and enjoying this series. It is hugely motivating, and here's to a successful new year for both all of you, as well as ChunkSmash as he continues his adventures in Gillenor. Ciao!